I'm going to give you my recommendations on how to load out your Aegis Vanguard Sentinel, and we're starting right now.
Aegis Combat Assist activated. Systems green.
Thank you so much to all the support from patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers that make this possible. Welcome to a Star Citizen's Loadout Guide. What's up, citizens? This is SubliminaL here, and in this guide, we will discuss my recommendations for both weapons and components for your Aegis Vanguard Sentinel. Our primary build has a focus on PvP, although I will give you my recommendations on PvE as well. My full review of the Vanguard Sentinel will be coming soon, so make sure you're not one of the 60% of viewers that aren't subscribed. I went live on Twitch just before releasing this guide. Come over and give me your thoughts on the Vanguard Sentinel and my loadout. Enough with the formalities, let's get to it. The Aegis A3 Vanguard Sentinel is an electronic warfare ship that's designed to fight smart instead of taking enemies head on. But since none of its smart features are implemented into the game yet, we're just gonna load it out to f some shit up with an emphasis on PvP. I'll also give you my honorable mentions for PvE and briefly cover stealth as well. Now that we understand the objective of this build, let's take a look at its components. We'll start with the power plant, the component that gives the other components power. The standard power plant on the Vanguard Sentinel are the size 2 grade 2 stealth class Gamma Maxes. I typically recommend stealth power plants when you have 2 slots available, and this one isn't terrible. However, with the power required for the Sentinel's EMP and the shields I'm going to be adding, this power plant won't be able to provide enough power. So I'll be adding a couple of Eclipses. They are grade 1, stealth class, has over 5300 max power generation per second, and a super quick 1.25 second draw request time. We will gain max power draw and reduce the time it takes to reach that max power draw down to just 1.25 seconds. If you find yourself slightly deviating from this build and it becomes more power inefficient, then pair the Eclipse with a JS400. I'm choosing the Eclipse to reduce power up time and my detection range. The Eclipses will set you back around 75,000 alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. Let's discuss its coolers. These are used to cool our components. The standard coolers on the Vanguard Sentinel are the size 2 grade 3 stealth class heatsink coolers. I can't stress this enough, you do not need to upgrade these. However, if you want the absolute best performance that's not worth the cost, I recommend adding cool cores. They are grade 3, industrial class with a cooling rate of 8,000 kilos per second and a draw request time of 10 seconds. By upgrading these, you are reducing your power up and EMP recovery time by 5 seconds, but slightly raising your stealth signature. An honorable mention would be the stealth Nightfalls for their lower emissions. One cool core will cost you around 60,000 alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. To better understand power plants and coolers, or for an explanation on how kilo per second is not a unit of measurement, check out these guides on power plants and coolers. Shields and QT drives are coming soon. Now for a shield generator that protects our ship and these components. The Vanguard Sentinel stock shield generators are the size 2 grade 2 stealth class suit shield generators. Since we're not going stealth, I want to have a good balance between HP pull and regen rate, so I'll be adding a couple of FR76s. They are grade 1, military class with an HP pool of almost 25,000, a 310 HP per second regen rate, block a minimum of 50% ballistic fire, have a 0-second damage delay, a 12-second down delay, and a 7.5 second draw request time. This will significantly raise your overall shield pool, significantly lower your regen delay, but slightly reduce your regen rate, and significantly raise your stealth emissions. If you like more shield pool at a slower regen rate, an honorable mention would be to pair the FR76 with a Rampart. One FR76 will set you back over 38,000 alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. It should be noted that there is a better shield combo in my opinion. Pairing the FR76 with a Sukaran is great. The Sukaran has 100% ballistic resistance, so it will need to be taken down completely before ballistics can do damage to the hull from that shield generator, or completely if you're fortunate enough to have 2. The upside is unparalleled shield pool and pretty good stealth. The downside is a terrible regen rate. However, you can adapt your playstyle. You will just need to ensure that you take your enemy out before your shields go down completely, because if they do, that's all she wrote. Unfortunately, if you don't own either a Banu Defender or a Prowler, there's no way to get access to the Sukaran. And lastly, the quantum drive that will help you get to the stores to sell these components faster. The standard QT drive on the Vanguard Sentinel is the size 2 grade 3 stealth class Nova. This drive isn't terrible, but it is certainly not very fast. I recommend using the XL1. The XL1 is grade 1, military class, has a 260 megameter per second quantum speed, a 24 per megameter fuel requirement, a 1.75 second spool up, and a 22.86 second cooldown time. This drive is the fastest size 2 drive, and with the Vanguard's large fuel tank, it can almost make a round trip from one end of the system to the other. The XL1 will run you almost 95,000 Alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. Before we get to weapons, the link to this specific loadout at Urkel.games can be found via the link in the description. It even tells you the prices and locations on where to find these items in the verse. Also, if you'd like, you can head over to the channel Discord. We have a community of over 16,000 citizens who'd like to discuss ships, loadouts, components, weapons, and more. And it's where I store my most up-to-date loadouts, link in the description. I'm excited to announce a new art series, Vessels of the Verse. This will be the first of many designs that will be released alongside buyer's guides and loadout guides. They will be available on Displayed in 48 hours, on the merch store in 24 hours. Desktop wallpapers are available right now to Twitch subs, patrons, and YouTube channel members, and mobile wallpapers are available for free via link in the description. Now, let's talk about its stock weapons and my recommendations. Underneath the nose, the Vanguard Sentinel is equipped with a size 5 hardpoint, with a gimbaled size 4 attrition 4 laser repeater mounted. One attrition 4 does 137 alpha damage times 270 RPM for a total of 617 DPS and a 4,000 meter range. Attritions are good weapons, but with the nimbleness that the Sentinel has, I think it can certainly benefit from fixed. For PvE, I prefer ballistics, however, there aren't any good ballistic weapons in size 5, but I really want the range that they give. So I'll be adding the big-ass CF557 Galdarine laser repeater. One Galdarine does 264 alpha damage times 225 RPM for a total of 990 DPS and a 4,700 meter range. These absolutely shred, and with their range, targets are dead before you even know what you killed. An honorable mention would be attrition 5s. I found my TTK was slightly lower with the CF series, but I recommend trying out the attrition 5s due to their overwhelming love from the community. One Galdarine will run you 32,000 Alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. Inside the nose, we have 4 bespoke ATVS distortion cannons. One ATVS does 131 alpha damage times 295 RPM for a total of 644 DPS and a 3,100 meter range. These weapons on paper are great, almost too good to be true, but distortion damage weapons are known to be buggy. And as I said earlier, for PvP I prefer ballistics, and I found the BVRSs work well with the 557s. One BVRS does 61 alpha damage times 290 RPM for a total of 295 DPS and a 2,200 meter range. Now, I normally don't mix ammo types, but since the nose guns have half the range of the big ass under nose gun, you should only be firing both while in close range, and through my testing, it worked well. And I didn't have a pip convergence issue. An honorable mention would be the GVSRs for PvE due to its infinite ammo. One BVRS will cost you around 9,000 Alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. The man turret totes 2 size 2 Sucker Punch L distortion cannons. One Sucker Punch L does 551 alpha damage times 84 RPM for a total of 771 DPS and a 2,500 meter range. Again, this all looks heaven sent, but they'll have to go for now. I want good range and shield penetration because the pilot will be deleting foes from existence before they get within range of the turret size 2 weapons. So I've chosen Strife mass drivers. One mass driver does 230 alpha damage times 63 RPM for a total of 242 DPS and a 2,500 meter range. If you're worried about ammo, the size 2 CF series will do fine, but this may cause power issues, so be careful. One mass driver will cost you around 14,000 Alpha UEC and can be found at these locations. Inside the fuselage, we have 2 bespoke missile racks, each with 4 size 2 missiles. One with 4 Ignite 2s and one with 4 Dominator 2s. The way missiles are behaving right now and how they will behave in some 311 leaks I've seen, I'd go for the quickest lock time. That would be Rattler 2s. One Rattler 2 does 3,500 damage, has a 1.26 second lock time, and a 4,500 meter lock range. If you prefer more damage, an honorable mention will be Strike Force 2s. Also, underneath we have 2 MSD 423 missile racks with 2 Arrestor 3s. Stepping up to this size missile gives you a lot more range, but doesn't give you much more damage. So instead I'll add some MSD 442 missile racks and equip them with Rattler 2s. This is great for many reasons. There's only one missile type, so there's no confusion on what you're firing. You'll have a quick lock time, and the Rattler 2s temporarily blind your enemy. And now we have 16 of them. If you'd like to take advantage of that extra range, adding either 2 Thunderbolt 2s or 1 Dragon 4 would be viable options as well. If you don't have a whopping 538,000 Alpha UEC for this build, I would buy them in the following order. Note, if you don't upgrade the coolers, you can save yourself over 100,000 Alpha UEC. The most important things here are the weapons and shields, followed by the stealth power plants. Upgrading any more is not necessary. Let's talk briefly about stealth. While a full stealth build in the Vanguard will not allow you to stay undetected and attack from outside your detection range, it can give your enemies less time to prepare for an attack if you're PvPing. The stock components are stealthy, but with stealth in such a large ship, you'll need to go big or go home. So here's how I'd load it out. I'll keep the Eclipse power plants from the main build, throw on the Industrial Grade 3 Cool Core coolers. You could go for Nightfalls as well. Add 2 Stealth Grade 1 Umbra Shield generators. Unless you have access to a Sukaron, it could be beneficial to add at least 1. And you can pick up whatever QT drive you prefer. Now for the weapons, it's less cut and dry. For stealth, I prefer long-range ballistic weapons. They penetrate shields and most importantly, don't announce your location to the rest of the verse. Unfortunately, once again, there aren't any size 5 weapons that fit that description. The deadbolts appear to have an overheating bug. So we'll go gimbaled once again. We'll add a gimbaled Revenant ballistic Gatling under the nose and add the BVRSs in the nose. As for the turret, the mass drivers I recommended before will do just fine. Now let's take a look at the stealth stats. Your IR on the Vanguard Sentinel after 30 minutes of flying around is around 7,500 with this stealth build. So depending on your opposition's radar, your detection range is between 3,750 and 5,625 meters, if you're not using Afterburner. You are free to fly around at any speed while firing without raising your IR significantly, but if you use Afterburner, that goes right out of the window. This includes Space Break, so only use it if you're in trouble and need to bug out. I don't see myself using this stealth build much, but it can be fun to try out. I hope you've enjoyed my loadout guide for the Vanguard Sentinel. I'd love to hear about yours down in the comments. My full review of the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel will be coming shortly, so make sure you're subscribed and have the bell clicked. I went live on Twitch just before releasing this video. Come and hang out. If you enjoy my channel, there are so many ways to support it, ranging from free options like Prime gaming subscriptions and sending Alpha UEC in the verse, sub club subscriptions, merch, to the more generous forms of support. Head over to SubliminaLchannel.tv to learn how. Your support in all forms makes this channel possible. Even your viewership, liking, and subscribing goes a long way. To continue watching, here's a video I think you may like, here's a video YouTube thinks you may like, and until next time, citizens, I'll see you in the verse.